Hello and welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to do a recap of a French historical romantic drama film called The Portrait of a Lady on Fire from 2019. But before we begin, beware of spoilers and enjoy the video. The film opens with the scenes of an art class, where Marion, the lead, is seen striking a pose for her portrait. While staying still, she asks her students if anyone's drawn her. Of all the students, only one student replies with a yes. Seeing the painting, Marion is visibly uncomfortable and tells the student that she shouldn't have taken it out. Hesitant, the student asks if she painted too. Marion replies that yes, she did paint, but a very long time ago. The camera finally flips toward the paintings and the student asks Marion to give her painting a suitable title. Metaphorically, she titles the painting as The Portrait of a Girl on Fire. As she observes the painting vigorously, Marion goes into a flashback where she finds herself sitting in a boat. Along with loneliness, she is carrying a crate with her which unexpectedly falls into the water, and Marion, without a second thought, dives in to save it. She successfully retrieves the crate and finds peace. On finally reaching the shore, Marion asks the boatman for directions. After a long walk from the beach, Marion reaches a house where a girl named Sophie is introduced as the housemaid. She opens the gates and leads Marion to her room where she learns Sophie has been working there for 3 years. When Sophie leaves, Marion opens the crate that contained canvases. Later at night, after drying herself up, Marion starts exploring the castle. When she starves, she looks around for food. Marion asks Sophie about her mistress, whom she is supposed to paint, to which Sophie replies she doesn't know her well since she has arrived newly. Marion also learns that Sophie's mistress was brought home after the demise of her sister, who was supposed to get married. Sophie also informs Marion that there was a painter before her who couldn't paint her mistress. On her way back, Marion stumbles into a storeroom where she finds a painting, presumably painted by the previous painter. Strangely, the face of the painting is scrubbed off. The next day, Sophie brings Marion a green gown in which her young mistress Heloise is to be painted. Marion then meets Heloise's mother, who had been painted by Marion's father. She tells Marion that the painting is to be done for Heloise's suitor. She also tells Marion that Heloise doesn't pose for her painters as she is against marriage, so she suggests Marion pretend to be her companion and paint her in secret. When Marion agrees, Sophie excitedly informs that Heloise is very excited, as she is not allowed to elope outside on her own. Marion curiously asks her the reason behind Heloise's homebound. Sophie reveals that she was not wary enough with Heloise's sister. After returning to her room, Sophie arrives to tell Marion that Heloise is waiting for her. Marion asks her about Heloise's sister and how she died. Sophie says that she fell off a cliff and then claims it to be suicide since no one heard her screaming. Marion goes down to see Heloise and walks out of the house. With Heloise's face yet to be revealed, she starts running away. Fearing that she might jump off a cliff and end up like her sister, Marion runs after her. At one point, Heloise stops and her face is finally revealed. Completely contrary to what Marion was thinking, Heloise reveals that she always wanted to run but was never given a chance. Heloise and Marion stand near the edge and Marion tries to sneak glances at her for the painting. On their way back, Heloise borrows a book from Marion that she had brought with her. At night, Marion tries drawing Heloise from memory and draws out a rough sketch of her appearance. The next day, the weather gets windy and Heloise expresses the desire to take a bath in the sea someday. Marion tells her that she should do it on a calmer day rather than picking a windy day, and begins asking if she could swim, to which she giggles and says she doesn't. Much to Marion's concerns, Heloise says that she can only know that she can swim if she tries. While Heloise walks alone, Marion tries to draw her hands. At dinner, Sophie asks Marion about how her painting is going. She says it's difficult as Heloise usually walks ahead of her and she hasn't even smiled yet. At night, Marion gets frustrated while trying to paint Heloise's face. The next day, Marion brings about her dead sister and asks how exactly she died. Heloise tells her that her sister apologized in her last letter for no reason, probably because she knew when she died she was leaving her fate for Heloise. Marion then asks why she is against the marriage. Having a fair point, she expresses herself and reveals she knows nothing of her suitor, and that she preferred living in the convent. She further accuses Marion of not knowing the pain of her misery since she's never been in her shoes. Disagreeing with Heloise, Marion goes to her mother and reports that her daughter is not sad but angry. She also convinces her to let Heloise go out alone. Marion goes back to work on her portrait. Marion sees Heloise sitting on the bench, unintentionally posing. In a conversation, Heloise confesses that she had never heard an orchestra, so Marion plays a piece for her. The next day, Marion starts painting earlier as Heloise finally gets to go out alone. After returning, she tells Marion that she misses her presence. She expresses being free but also alone. At night, Marion completes the portrait. She tells Heloise's mother that the portrait is completed and she would like to tell Heloise about it herself. She also goes to see the portrait painted by the previous painter and sets it on fire. The next day, Marion confesses to her lawyers that she is a painter and had been painting her portrait to send to her suitor in Milan. Not so shocked, Heloise reveals that she could guess by the way she was gazing at her features for the past few days. When Marion is leaving in 2 days, Heloise decides to take a bath in the sea but rushes back home stating that she still doesn't know how to swim. Back in the house, Heloise sees her portrait and criticizes it, saying it doesn't look anything like her. Frustrated and helpless, Marion rubs Heloise's face off of the painting just like the painting she burnt earlier. Heloise's mother is disappointed to see the painting. Marion says that she would like to make another one, but the mother doesn't agree until Heloise pitches in and asks Marion to draw her while she gives her a pose. While her mother's gone, she reveals that she accepted the proposal just so she could spend 5 more days with Marion. The next day, Heloise comes to pose for Marion and wears the green gown that night. Marion gets her period and goes to Sophie for some sanitary help. There, Sophie reveals her concerns about not having her period for a while, and assuming she's pregnant. She also says that she doesn't want to have a child, so Marion helps her by spending the whole day trying to find plants so Sophie could have an abortion. At the dinner table, while Heloise and Marion exchange thoughts on ever falling in love, Sophie falls on the ground. They rush to help her. When Heloise and Sophie sleep, Marion starts drawing Heloise one more time. She catches a peek of Marion drawing her, so she smiles and says nothing. The next day, Marion reveals the shocking twist and apologizes for lying about being a painter. Heloise reveals that she isn't hurt at all. That's when Marion says she can tell that she's lying because she has observed a specific hand movement whenever she lies. Heloise calls Marion near her and also points out how she raises her eyebrows when she is annoyed. The next day, while painting, Heloise asks how she makes her clients smile. She reveals she compliments them. This makes her smile too, as the girls are bonding well. Heloise reads a story to Sophie and Marion and escalates a debate on characters. The trio decides to set up a bonfire at night. Heloise stands near the fire and her dress catches flame, paralleling the painting that Marion had made in the future. The next day, Marion and Heloise go out for a walk and have their first kiss, which is very passionate. At lunch, Sophie breaks down to Marion that Heloise is not feeling well. Hence, she won't be joining them at night. Finding it doubtful, Marion goes to Heloise's room to check up on her. On her way, she is baffled to see the ghost of Heloise in her wedding dress in the hallway. In the room, both Heloise and Marion confess their love for each other. They sleep together that night. In the morning, Sophie calls them as they have to go to the doctor for her abortion. Sophie has her abortion that night and none of them can sleep. Marion draws Sophie and Heloise at the moment. The next day, Heloise can't stop smiling while Marion is painting her. Marion goes and kisses her. That night, they sleep together. Marion wakes up early and finishes the painting the next day. When the painting is revealed to Heloise, she tends to like it. This time, Heloise says that Marion destroyed her first painting for herself. Marion says she wants to destroy this one too. The two get into a heated argument when Marion lets out the bottled-up suggestion of calling off her engagement. Saddened and hurt, Heloise runs away. The next day, Marion runs to find Heloise and apologizes to her, saying that she will never forget their love when they part ways. As a gesture to remember her, Marion draws a self-portrait in Heloise's book. That night, Marion gets romantic and reveals that the first time she developed feeling and wanted to kiss Heloise was when she asked what love felt like. Heloise's mother arrives and interrupts the two. She approves the painting, suggesting it was time for Marion to leave. Marion hugs Heloise goodbye and prepares to leave. Just as she's about to walk out of the door, she hears Heloise say "turn around," paralleling the words of their favorite book character. Much to her surprise, she sees Heloise standing in the wedding gown just as she had imagined. After admiring her, she leaves. Here their love chapter closes. Heloise, in the present, also remembers and recalls her time spent with Marion. Marion, after parting ways, meets Heloise at an exhibition for the first time. She sees a painting of herself holding a child. In the painting, she is showing her book to her child. The book is open to page 28, the page Marion drew herself. For the last time up till now, Marion saw Heloise at a theater performance, where Heloise doesn't notice her. The orchestra plays the same song that Marion played for her. That's all for today. If you liked this video, then please like, share, and comment. Press the bell icon so you don't miss any updates, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Take care and see you next time.